you come across to me as a very grateful person that appreciates the power of the universe, and not that many
Wow.
people actually believe in the invisible like that, right? But I can see that you do. Have you always like believed in the in that whole universal kind of approach?
It's evolved into that, coming out of the strict religious upbringing, and being abducted by an alien when I was 3. Those things kind of opened my mind up to the possibilities of how we've been deceived and how people don't really know what's going on, really, because so many things contradict themselves in so many religions and so many beliefs. I got to figure this out so I can have some peace, because it's very important to me to understand what this is and why I'm here.
So you're telling me, because me too, when I was like very young, I had something that somebody told me was called a
Hmm.
walk-in, where all of a sudden I felt like something happened to me and I was watching myself all surrounded in gold and I couldn't kind of
Mm.
pull myself out of this shit and I was actually watching myself. Somebody told me I was walked into by an alien.
Could have been a shadow that is in you, that is trying to reveal itself through paralyzing in a dream, or it could be an alien had abducted you and you have small remnants of what happened, but you can't piece them all together. What happened to me was I remember all the way up to going up in the light. And I don't remember anything after that, but waking up in my mom's lap crying or coming to. That's all I remember. And it was dark outside, but even though I remember, I was 3 years old and it was bright as the sun outside when I walked out the back door with this being that took my hand. He took me out of my bed, and it was like really tall. It had long blonde hair and a white robe with these shoes and boots, kind of like that wrapped up his leg. It
Radiant,
was a
dude.
I think it was a Nord, because I've seen pictures of those aliens and that's what it looked like. It even dressed like that. But I saw the picture of the Nord when I was 40 years old. That's when I went, oh my God, then I was abducted, because for 40 years I wasn't sure. And then about 5 years later, I'm watching stories about people that have been abducted from the Blue Book that the government opened, and people that remember
Yeah.
being abducted. And this lady said she remembers what happened, and it was basically the same thing that happened to me, but she remembers after she went up into the spaceship or wherever she went. And she said she was on this thing laying down and she couldn't move. And the alien kept saying, "Don't worry, I won't hurt you." And it kept comforting her. And she says, "What are you doing? Why are you here?" And he said, "I have to take your essence out of you and put it in another body." And she looked through the side and she saw a whole bunch of bodies in these containers standing up, and they all looked like her. And she said, "What is this?" And they said, "We've been cloning you since you've been born." And she said, "Well, why are you doing this?" And the alien said, "Because you have rheumatic fever. And that's why we have to take this out of you." And then she
Oh,
said it was over and she don't remember anything else. Now listen, I had rheumatic fever when I was 3. So
Wow.
dude,
decade to decade
Wow.
to
you know
decade,
what?
I
You're
remember
a
these
star
things and I
child.
pieced it together. So this is my recollection now of it all.
You're one of the original Star Children. You were picked. And now that you've told me this, because I've never heard you say anything like this before, I can so relate and understand your energy in a whole different way about why you do what you do and why you do it and how your passion for your music and playing bass and your appreciation, the way that energy flows out of you and voice your freaking voice when you sing. You got that kind of gospel thing happening in the back of your
Thank
voice
you.
that I've always detected. You know what I mean? Man, thank you for sharing that with us.
That's amazing, Doug. Wow. Holy cow.
From
Pinnick
pedals
Wilson.
to aliens, my friends. This is what
Wow.
we're talking about. Whew.
Too cool.